Hello Fumi Nation, how are you? How are we? For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, my name is Fumidesaluvold. This episode is a part 2 on the Shanquella Robinson case. Before I start, I would like to make an apology. In my first episode, I had described Shanquella Robinson as Shanquella Johnson. Let me explain. That week was a very tumultuous week for me. I had gotten a tooth extracted and I'd also gotten my gum cut open because they were not able to extract the tooth in a traditional way. So I was in a lot of pain and my son was unwell, so I hadn't slept for over 24 hours. On top of which, this case has been very close to home for me, and if you watch the first episode, you will know why. I was also full of adrenaline because it's just been such a sad case. It's been such a shocking case. And I was also speaking to a Mrs. Johnson. So I think being overworked, tired, in a lot of pain, I mixed the two names by mistake, and I wanted to apologize. I only noticed it after the case because I don't go back and watch my content. I only noticed it after the case. Because I was doing a part 2, I wanted you to know that it was a mistake. I'm human, and it was absolutely an oversight. Also, if you want to know of any updates and videos, it is on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram and you'll see that I have circled. You see Shanquella. Shanquella's name is right there. If you click onto that highlight, everything comes up. I have followed this case from day one, and I make it a point to take my time before I come back to you guys because I need to have information. I need to make sure that what information I'm giving you is accurate, or at least close to accuracy, because I have my assumptions as well. So everything that you want to see, videos, updates, everything is on this highlight on my Instagram. There is no other social media platform that I have or I can think of where I can store all of the videos, all of the updates, all of the news clippings. There's no other place than for me to put it here. So you go to my Instagram and you will see it there. If I put it in the stories, it expires after 24 hours. With the highlights, it will stay there for months. So you have it right there, okay? Now, today is somewhat of a good day because Mexico has now issued arrest warrants and extradition orders for 1 or 2 of the members of the Cabo 6. Story after story has unfolded. I have my list right here. We know that they were not in a hotel room, they were in a villa, which is even worse. So they were absolutely secluded, alone to do what they wanted to do. We also have video of Shanquella walking around the villa, asking where her friends are at.
It's my friends for me, because, y'all, it don't take that long to get naked. It don't take that long to get naked, hoes. Where y'all at?
Because we now know why she was naked, that they were going skinny dipping. But Shanquella, again, like I had mentioned, was the only one undressed. That was why I assumed she was coming from the shower. In essence, she was going into water. And when she got to the room, all of her friends were still dressed. We also know, quote and unquote, that Dajane, even though it has been said that she is transgender, is a woman. It also came to light that Winter Donovan grabbed Shanquella by the neck and body slammed her. It was after that she did not move. It also came to light Shanquella paid for the villa $10,000, that she came with $17,000. These are the stories that began to surface. We also got an update that when the doctor arrived, because Cabo 6 requested a doctor to come to the villa, that Shanquella was alive, that she was not responsive, but she was alive. The doctor came to the villa. What was very strange to me, the doctor examined her and he told the Cabo 6 that she should be taken to the hospital. Cabo 6 said no, that she should be treated on site. It is extremely strange to me, extremely strange, why a doctor would listen to them as opposed to trying to preserve life. Isn't that what he signed up for? Isn't that his oath? If he thought that somebody was in danger, that this person needed more medical assistance, why did he stay there for 3 hours trying to revive her until she passed
Now,
on?
new information from a news outlet in Mexico shows a police narrative of what happened once a doctor was called. An hours-long encounter that's a far cry from the initial report that said she died a short 15 minutes after an injury. We translated the new report, which says Shanquella was convulsing, dehydrated, but alive once the doctor got there. Her friends told the doctor she, quote, drank a lot of alcohol. The doctor wanted to transfer her to a hospital, but her friends instead insisted she be treated on site at the vacation home. The 25-year-old had a seizure. She had difficulty breathing and a decreased pulse. At 4:49, the doctor stopped feeling her pulse and began CPR maneuvers with the help of one of her friends. Shanquella Robinson was pronounced dead at 5:57 p.m., more than 3 hours after the doctor got there, according to the report. It's worth noting neither the death certificate nor the police report mention alcohol poisoning.
Inside that autopsy report, it stated she had no alcohol in her system and that Shanquella died 15 minutes after her injuries. Stay with me. I know it's a bit confusing. The Cabo 6 called for medical assistance. A doctor came to the villa. When the doctor came, he said she needs to be taken to the hospital. Cabo 6 said no, you would treat her here. And so he did his best. She had poor verbal, let me just read it, poor verbal response. Cabo 6 said she drank a lot of alcohol. Cabo 6 wanted her treated in the room, in the villa. There was poor verbal response. She died 3 hours later. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. There was no mention of spinal cord or neck injuries. In the report that was issued on that day. Cabo 6, because I'm no longer calling them friends. They are not friends, they are devils, they are frenemies, but I prefer Cabo 6. That was what they wanted written, put in the record to cover them. When the autopsy report was released, did not mention any alcohol whatsoever in her system. The cause of death, as opposed to the report where it said cardiac arrest, in actual fact, it was spinal cord and neck injuries. You see, when it was released that Shanquella was alive, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. The way these people behaved, like I had mentioned in the first episode, human behavior. If you understand how humans behave, you will find the truth in the gaps. I believe that they did call for assistance, but that was after Shanquella had died. They bribed whoever was there, and they bribed to get this report.
We are getting in some new information that a reporter in Mexico says is contained in the police report, and it conflicts with some information in the autopsy. Here's Channel 9's Joe Bruno tonight. Joe?
Many questions remain about how Shanquella Robinson died, but an attorney in Mexico says take what is on the police report with a grain of salt. It's just a document listing what officers were told by people on scene.
I would say that most police reports don't have the truth because it's either hearsay or they're being custom tailored to what the police needs to be in the report.
Shanquella had $17,000 that is yet to be accounted for. Somebody has it. Or did Cabo 6 take that money to bribe their way out of a crime? I believe the autopsy report. If you go with the autopsy report, she died shortly after. 15 minutes is too short a time. It's not enough time to get assistance out to the resort, to the villa, to the room, explain what is happening, and then go ahead and say, aha. No, 15 minutes is too short. What kind of doctor listens to people that don't have any medical experience whatsoever? She died. And Shanquella's mother also said that in an interview.
Well, I received a call on Saturday saying that my daughter was sick and that she had alcohol poison. But her doctor had never arrived, so I don't know where they had got the alcohol poison from. So at that time, they said a doctor was on the way to examine her. And she wasn't responding, as they told me. Said she was resting a little bit, but she wasn't all the way responding as normal. So I told them to keep me informed, and I wanted to know why they couldn't take her to the emergency room. They said because they needed $5,000 cash to be seen in the emergency room. And I said, well, she has insurance. And they said they didn't take insurance by being out the country. It was a little different. So at that time, I told them just keep me informed, and they did call back, but they still saying it was alcohol poison. So by later on that evening, they called and said that Shanquella had passed. And at that point, you know, it just took my heart, crumbled up, you know, just knowing my child was gone, and I couldn't get there to her, could not do anything. And they said the medics came, 3 medics came, and no one couldn't do anything, couldn't save her. But I believe Shanquella was already passed, had already passed.
She said, I believe that when they called me to say she had alcohol poisoning, that Shanquella had already passed away. I'm going to go to Shanquella for a minute. Shanquella called her mother. She said, Ma, I'm going to Mexico. One of my friends is having a birthday party. And she went. When she got to Mexico, she called her mother again. She said, Ma, I'm here. We're eating tacos. This is a girl that has a loving relationship with her mother, that is very close with her mother. It also shows how reliable Shanquella is and how responsible Shanquella is. When you hear this, this does not sound like the Shanquella who has a thriving business, who is very loving with her mother and updates her mother. This person does not sound like somebody who drank and drank until she got alcohol poisoning. But let us say for argument's sake that she did have alcohol poisoning and she wasn't feeling well. This particular Shanquella would have called her mother and said, Ma, I'm not feeling well. She already called the mother to say, I'm going to Mexico. She already called the mother to say, I'm there, we're eating. They have a close relationship Because most people will just go and say, you know what, I'll holler at you when I get there, most probably second, third day because you're playing with your friends or whatever. But Shanquella called when she got there and told the mother even what they were eating. Why didn't Shanquella call? Why didn't Shanquella text? Why didn't Shanquella miss call? Something. Because Shanquella didn't have her phone. Because we don't know where the phone is. Because we don't know who took her phone. Because her mother is right. Because her mother knew. Because her mother knew Shanquella. Because Shanquella actually had a routine. This was not Shanquella's behavior. So when they called her and said Shanquella wasn't feeling well, Shanquella had already passed. I believe that to be so. Shanquella took her phone and walked around the villa to say, where are you all at? If anybody did, it was only Shanquella that was actually active with her phone. And the towers will show that. Every time you use your phone, it pins to a tower. They should look at all of the phones. And I am almost positive that weeks prior to this, the Cabo 6, all of their phones were in constant contact, in plan for Cabo. And it will tell us when the last time Shanquella used her phone. And I have a proxy that it was around the time that she was attacked. While we're on the forensics, they should light up that room. Fumi, what do you mean? I tell you. You splatter the luminol all over the room. When you turn off the light, whoosh, lights up like a Christmas tree. The blood trace will tell us a story. It will tell us whose blood it is. And it will also tell us blood splatter. It will tell us exactly what went on. This has to be one of the most shocking cases. It has shocked everybody. Because this was a healthy 25-year-old girl who left to Mexico and didn't come back. As far as I'm concerned, I am happy for the arrest warrants. I am happy that there is some kind of motion forward. The case is going to constantly develop, and there's a lot that's still going to come out. The Cabo 6 made a mistake. Once they got rid of Shanquella, they are now bonded together because of this case. Now, it's a matter of the weakest link. One of you is the weakest link. One of you will talk. One of you is now going to be under a lot of pressure to really tell us what went down. And in so doing, going to bring all of you down. I don't want you to have the death penalty. I want you to live in your 80s and 90s in a Mexican cell. I want you to live all of your life in a Mexican cell for what you have done. Because we only saw a snippet of one of the most shocking videos of this year, and we are going into December. And it was just a snippet. We don't know for how long Shanquella endured this terrible thing that happened to her. We don't know how many hours did this to her. We don't know. But what the Cabo 6 did not know in that room, that as they were beating her, they did not know that this video that was released by one of you who felt guilty would send shockwaves on a global scale that have now come up and roared for justice. I want to take the time also to really applaud Mrs. Robinson, Shanquella's mother. You're a mother of mothers. I've seen her constantly out there with all of the news outlets working alongside to get her daughter's justice. She has put her tears aside and she's tirelessly pushing to get justice for her child. I don't know how she does it. And my utmost respect and regards goes to her. As mothers, as sisters, as just people of society, this has really given a lot of people sleepless nights. And it's still ongoing. Because we like to pride ourselves as human beings that there's still some kind of good in the world. That we couldn't really, a fellow human being, behave like this to another. It's too shocking for us because we take ourselves above animals. Because this was a 25-year-old girl who should have had a life, who should have become a mother in her time, who should have gone on to do wonderful things. And her life was snatched away by people that she knew. Killing, as far as I'm concerned. And if it was not, they hushed it up. That is why her friend that came the following day, who said that he massaged her and he was playing music for her, you should have taken her to the hospital. You should have run in there and said, what the hell happened? You should have put a blanket over her. You should have called the front desk and asked for assistance right away. You should have taken her out of that place, out of danger, and called the police against the others. But you didn't do that. It all looked to us that you had a hand in it, that you covered each other up. That's what it looks like. That you're talking about, you played music for her, she was dying in front of you, or was she already dead? You said no, she was non-responsive. What is non-responsive? Last time I checked, that means that you're on your way out. Why didn't you scream and say, what happened in my absence? No, 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 no. This, I don't play those kind of games. You should have gone against them. Or if you felt that they would do to you what they did to Shanquella, you should have said, you know what? Let me get up out of here, walk to the reception, blow the alarm at the villa. You didn't do any of that. All of you came back. I don't know what you ate on the plane. What did you talk about on the flight back? And you went to Shanquella's mother and you never told her that this is what happened in Mexico. This is what happened, Ma. I'm so sorry. Because Kahil Cook, you knew the family. You went on holiday with the family. You came back and you looked into her eyes and you didn't tell her that her daughter was savagely beaten by these folks. I wonder, was it Kahil that was holding the camera? I wonder, because you have to think about it. Normal, simple human behavior. If you see a fight beating, you will be like, let me call the police. What's going on? But you see, the person who held the camera already knew what was going to take place. That's why his hand was steady. That was why he was so desensitized that he said to a very shocking, devastated, broken-hearted Shanquella, whose spine might have been broken, can you at least fight?
You know, and he been to the family house. We all been on trips together, you know, just good time. And I never thought that he could be that low to do my child like that.
Have you heard from him since all of this happened?
Yeah, he came to the house 4 days in a row until he found out we knew what the autopsy said.
But guess what, darlings? They're looking for you in Mexico. They're looking for you in America. The streets are looking for you. How ironic. The hunter who hunted down this girl, you have now all become the most hunted. Guys, do not forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and above all, continue to share. We are going to continue to apply pressure on their necks. The only way that this can be is when we have enough leverage to push this through. When I first did this video, there was a rise about the Shanquella Robinson case. Now, everywhere I go, it's now national news, mainstream news, international news. I am here in London and it is news. That is how big this case is because you guys have made it big. So continue to share and I will continue to update. Thank you guys for all that you are sending. We will get justice for Shanquella Robinson.